to the top. As you can see. So what happens now? Well, the denominator is what we want. Now, I know it's tempting to FOIL the denominator, but again, we want to simplify. So let's just leave the denominator alone, but we do have to FOIL the numerator. So we do that, and we end up getting this. You know, just regular FOIL. And so we get this. Now, so when we subtract, right, I rewrote the denominator here in factored form. We're subtracting this, right? That's what we're doing, as you can see. And notice here when we subtract, I put parentheses around this. I mean, I don't know about you, but I know if I don't put the parentheses in, I will forget to distribute the minus. We have to distribute that minus. Otherwise, our answer is not going to be correct. That's why I have the parentheses here. And once you distribute that minus sign, right, we get this. As you can see, we have minus 4x squared minus 19x plus 5. Why is it plus? Minus minus becomes plus. So we have all this, right? We have minus 1 plus 5x minus 4x squared minus 19x plus 5, as we can see. Then, combining like terms in the numerator, right, such as -1 and 5, that's where this 4 came from. We have minus 4x squared. There's only one x squared term, so we leave that alone. We have 5x minus 19x is minus 14x. So altogether, we get this. And are we done? Not yet, right? We have to simplify. Okay, but does everyone understand this? Are there any questions about this so far? Okay. Now, this step, I guess, is kind of optional, what I did here. I just took out a common factor of 2, as you can see. You don't have to do that, though. I did it just to make the next steps here a little bit easier. Basically, what we have to do, though, remember, is determine if the numerator and denominator have any common factors. You know, if they do, we cancel them. And if they don't, we're done. But again, we can use the factor theorem, right? It's enough to determine if 5 and -5, right? If the polynomial on top maps 5 to 0 or -5 to 0. And that's what I'm doing here. I take the top, I'm replacing 5 by x, and I'm doing this calculation. So we get -50 minus 35 plus 2. And that turns out to be -83. Well, that's not 0. So that tells us x minus 5 is not a factor of the numerator. What about x plus 5? Well, remember, for plus, you have to think of this as x minus the negative. So really, we're doing -5. So we're checking -5 for x, but again, it doesn't give us 0. You know, if you plug it in, you get -2 times 25 plus 35, minus is plus 2. And when you do this calculation, you end up getting -13, which is not 0. So these are not factors of the numerator of this term. But again, you could have worked with this directly. I just thought taking out the 2 would be a little bit easier. But basically, we get the rational expression is simplified, which for us is the most important point, is what we're looking for. So it is simplified. Any questions on this? Okay, let's do another one then. So we have this one now. Okay, now notice we have to, so again, we have to check the denominators because these are not the same. Well, 36x squared minus 1, that is a difference of 2 squares. 36, as you can see here, is 6 squared. 1 is 1 squared. Okay, so in other words here, let me show you. 36x squared, okay? 6 squared times x squared, minus 1, minus 1. But we can rewrite this here, okay, as 6x squared. 6x squared. And 1, of course, is 1 squared, so we have a difference of 2 squares. And that's how we go from here to here. So this denominator we were able to factor, is what I'm saying. The first one is already factored. You have something squared. Okay, you can't break that down any further. So we have this here, basically, which is this, except now the denominators are factored. Okay, so what are the irreducible factors? Well, we have 6x minus 1, 6x plus 1, those are listed. For 6x plus 1, here the exponent is 1. Here the exponent is 2. So the greatest exponent is 2 of 6x plus 1. For 6x minus 1, the only exponent of it is 1. So our LCD, the least common denominator, is this. 6x plus 1 squared times 6x minus 1 to the first, which is just 6x minus 1, as you can see. Now these denominators, right, neither of those equal the LCD, so we're going to have to manipulate both of these. As you can see, we have 2x plus 1 over 6x plus 1 squared, right? That's the first rational expression. What are we missing here? Well, it looks like we're missing 6 times x minus 1. So we want to multiply the bottom by that. But as I said, as we have seen, whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. It has to be balanced, right? So because of that, we get this rational expression equals this one, as we can see, which is the same as this. I probably could FOIL this here, but I guess maybe randomly, or arbitrarily, so to say, I didn't. So now, for the second one, we did factor the denominator to get this, but we're still missing something, right? We're missing 6x plus 1. Remember, the LCD is 6x plus 1 squared. So you need 2 6x plus 1s. We only have 1. No big deal. We just multiply it in there. Whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. So we're multiplying it, as we can see. Right? So again, 6x plus 1 squared times 6x minus 1. Here we have 6x plus 1 times 6x minus 1. Well, to get this to be squared, we have to multiply the denominator by a 6x plus 1. And whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. So this is what we get. Okay, that's good. Now we're going to add those two. We can do that, right? Why can we do that? The denominators are the same. And once we do that, we add the numerators together. But let's not leave it like this. I mean, come on, we could do better than that, right? So we FOIL the top. You know, we want to simplify. Well, at least determine if it is simplified. So we have to FOIL this side and this here, as you can see, right? FOIL, we get this, 12x squared minus 2x plus 6x minus 1, 6x squared plus x plus 12x plus 2. From here, right, again, we're not doing anything to the denominator, right? When you add, you leave the denominators alone. So again, we FOILed the numerator, right? Now we combine like terms. We have 12x squared plus 6x squared, that's 18x squared, minus 2x and 6x, right? What is that? That's 4x, plus x is 5x, plus 12x is 17x. Minus 1 plus 2 is just 1. So we get this.